Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Shit I Learned in My Youth. In this episode, me and Luchman focus on health and the variant effects it has on a person. We talk about what brought him in the world of healthy living and why most people avoid it. Hope you enjoy. Hi, this is Angel.
This is Luchman.
And we are here today talking about shit we learned in our youth. This is the second episode of the podcast, and we're going to be talking about health. So, Luchman, you might be wondering, why did you drag me from my house playing Fortnite to a studio to talk about health? And the reason being is because in the time that I've known you from high school, you've always been quite obsessed with healthy living, being like muscly and all that kind of stuff. And I've never been that way inclined, ever. I'd much rather nap for 5 hours than do 3 sit-ups, which I have done in the last 3 days. Yay, depression. So what kind of made you invest in like a healthy lifestyle the way that you have done in the past?
I don't know. I guess it starts from the way I live, because I've always been waking up early. So in a way, I've always had to wake up early, and then from there, it's sort of like I waste my time in the morning, until I get ready to go to school. Mm-hmm. So back in the day when I started, I'd go to the gym in the morning or do something active in the morning. So that's what kind of started it. And then it's just the fact that you could just change your body, like the way that you could physically change how you look, or how you, like, it's not only physically but also mentally as well. Like, I don't know if you've done it, but when you get like a good pump from the gym, you're just like, yeah, like, fuck yeah, all this, that. Like, you just want to wreck some stuff.
Just want to break some things. Recently I started going to the gym more so for health reasons, because I have a knee problem. So I went to the gym to kind of strengthen that, and I didn't realise that I was actually losing weight as well until yesterday. My nan went, "Oh, Angel, you've been losing a lot of weight." And I was like, "How?" I didn't even know I gained it. Excuse me, but I know exactly what you mean. Like, after being out of the gym, I'm always like, I'm ready to just write some essays. Where's John? Where's my research?
Yeah, it gives you that pump, and like it just kickstarts your day in a way. Even if it's during the night, you're just sort of ready for what's next.
So you said it's part of your general living. What did you mean by that?
My parents both wake up about 6, 7 in the morning. And during that time, I'd wake up in the morning because, there'd somehow be noise in the house. And then I'd always find myself just sitting watching cartoons or something until about 8:30. Because we go to the same college, if you guys don't know. So I only live
high school.
And high school. And from both, I live about 20 minutes away. So I could get ready late and then come to college or come to high school either on time or about 5 minutes late, which isn't bad compared to being half an hour late, for example. But yeah. So I've always been conditioned in the way to wake up early. So that's where most of my energy comes from. And that's what I feel like is best for me personally to do that sort of stuff.
So in regards to diet and stuff, because I've known you well for like the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. And since I've known you, you've always been on like a healthy lifestyle. Like, we'll go to Nando's and we'll get a salad and chicken, and I'm just there like with a pile of chips, like no. So how do you like restrain yourself from eating unhealthily on a regular basis? Or do you have like, because I remember when I mentioned that I might start a diet, you said don't have a cheat day, have a cheat meal, and let that be your...
Yeah, that's what I do. So like I wake up in the morning, I'd have say yogurt and granola. That's a good way to like get your fat intake, get some carbs. Depending on what kind of granola, you can get a good amount of protein as well. And then because my dinners are always heavy, like full-on carbs, like there's a lot of oil and stuff in there, I can know that's where I'll get most of my calories. And in a way, that's sort of my cheat meal, although it's kind of unfair on me because I can't have like a chocolate or fat pastry or something. So yeah, so during lunch, I'd have like a salad, as you said, something light just to keep me moving and give me some energy. And then, go on to dinner, have that fat meal, and then it'll probably fill me up until 9 o'clock, have something small, and then...
So if we're like talking like breakdown meals throughout the day, like today, what have you eaten?
So in the morning, I had the yogurt and granola. And then for lunch, I didn't really have lunch. In a way, I just had like a Snickers bar. Because caramel, that sort of stuff gives you a lot of energy in like small amounts. So it's really good for that. And then for dinner, I'm most likely going to have chicken and potatoes. But because of the recipe, this is from Kosovo. So that's where I'm from. I'm from Kosovo, and all our meals are like we have a lot of oil, or we have some sort of ingredient where it just makes it more dense. I don't know what it is. You know, I'm sorry, Mum, that I don't focus on the cooking, but
I mean, like, if I look at what I've eaten today, just a side note, I'm very hungover because it's my birthday yesterday, so I'm celebrating. So I woke up with like the most banging headache in the world, and then just ate some toast and drank loads of water, and then was like, I can't eat anything else today because I might die.
Yeah.
But on like a normal day, like, yes, I'm not going to talk about yesterday. I had
Let's not talk about yesterday.
so many McChicken burgers at like 12. It was so bad. We just sneaked them into Weatherspoons and just like numbed
Just whatever pocket you could fill.
It was not even pocket. I was wearing a dress, so I just tucked it into like my bra and then just walked in like I was pregnant. It was so bad. It was actually the worst. But if you talk like on an average day, I don't eat breakfast ever. I'm just not a big breakfast eater.
Yeah.
For lunch, I've started to have, as you know, the honey mustard and chicken salad from Sainsbury's.
It's good.
So good. And sweet potato bhajis. I don't know why. I really like Indian food, but that's because I have kind of like an Indian flair in my family. So I've kind of grown up with spicy food. So that's why anytime I eat like spicy food, everyone's like, "Oh, a white girl eating spicy food. Oh, is her mouth gonna burn?" It's it's quite bad. And then for dinner, if like we're cooking, we'll have like pasta or like chili con carne or something. My mum makes a banging pasta. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, back on health.
Back on health.
Let's just stop being hungry for 5 minutes and just talk about that. So like, when did you start going to the gym?
I mean, I started going to the gym about 3-4 years ago, but like everyone else, you don't know what you're doing. You just go, do what you could lift, come home, and then have a fat meal, you know. And in a way, you're sort of whatever gains you got, you just took them away with the meal. And then about a year later, this is about 2 years ago, then I started doing more research. You know, John would love me using that word, but yeah, like. I started just doing more research on what different like proteins and carbs and stuff like that, and I learned that it's just the little things. Like you could just change one meal in your day, and it could make the most difference on your body. In a way, your body will thank for it as well, you know. So yeah.
So what kind of research did you do? Did you like see a physician, a nutritionist, or did you just like get up Safari?
Most of it's online. You could just like say bodybuilding.com. You could find most of your articles there. MyProtein, you know, these big companies for bodybuilding and just fitness in general, they'll have a load of different articles on them. It could be anything from food to training to even just what kind of smoothie you want in the morning.
Have you ever considered seeing a personal trainer?
I did, but it's also, I mean, yeah, I did personal trainer, but it's not something I'd personally want to do because in a way, it's like they could have just got the workout, printed it off, and you're paying like say 60 quid a session. Just for them to read something off the internet.
I suppose it's very interesting because, as I said before, I go to the gym for a very different reason. It's all strength training in a specific area, so I can't just go into the weight section and then like
just bang out some heavy rep.
Yeah, because I'll do a lot more damage than good. So I think it's interesting that if we look at our separate kind of gym styles, I'd say yours is more powered to a certain body perspective, if you know what I mean. Like you go into the gym thinking of a body goal in mind, and I'm just like, oh, I hope I can walk tomorrow without being in pain. So where do you think that idolized body image came from? Was it something you invested from looking at yourself and knowing where you can go, or was it from streaming on social media, looking at people?
A bit of both, really. I mean, one day I looked in the mirror. You know, I'm a slim guy. I used to be skinny in high school. Slim guy, gained some weight over the holidays.
Tiny.
And then I realized that I took my shirt off, and during the summer I'd go to Kosovo and I'd always be at the pool, and I realized I had a fat belly, so I was slim. I don't know the word, skinny fat. So I'd be slim with a t-shirt on, but the moment I take my t-shirt off, I've got a fat belly, and you know, in a way, I was like, oh, like I should really be having abs, you know. So in a way, that's where it started. And then from just trying to lose that belly, it got on to just trying to gain muscle. And then I went again, you know, you do your research and you find out all these kind of different people. And then you just sort of look at their bodies, you know, and be realistic. You know, you don't want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger or some like insane athlete with like bulldozers for shoulders. But yeah, I mean, if you be realistic, then yeah, I think you could find your idol kind of quickly.
But do you think that could possibly be damaging? Like, my body shape isn't skinny. I'm never going to be skinny no matter what I do. So do you think it may be damaging looking at a very slim, skinny built person and being like, I want to be like that? Just because I know I would never be able to achieve that. And do you think you're doing something similar with yourself?
In a way, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't understand the question fully.
Okay, I'm never going to be skinny.
Mm-hmm.
I can be...
You never know.
No, I can be thin, but I'll never be skinny, small built, petite. I never will, because that's not how I'm built. I have really broad shoulders, really curvy hips, and I'm just not that way inclined. If you look at my brother, he's built like a brick house. He's got massive shoulders. He's quite stern in the way he like holds himself, and he's quite just generally big but not fat, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And as you said earlier, you're slim.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think looking up to idols who are built like a brick house naturally could possibly be damaging to your own self-esteem and own perspective on what you can actually achieve if you're doing that?
Again, it all comes down to the realism aspect, you know. So it's sort of like, as long as you, it's a hard question to answer because it's also sensitive, you know.
I mean, it's called shit I learned in my youth, bro. You can be as unsensitive as you like.
So like,
just be
I don't
honest.
know. It's just sort of a thing where it's sort of like, I don't know, like if you have a foundation you can build on it, then yeah, I think it'll work. But it does damage you because there's always that thought in the back of your mind where like, well, like I know I can't make it. You know, it's good to have goals. Don't get me wrong, but like there's always that thing in the back of your head that's like, oh, you can't make that. You know, you're just you. You know, you're gonna stay how you are. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a change, I guess, that really affects you.
So from a mental health perspective, do you think it could be damaging?
Yeah, I think it could, because it just starts picking away, and then because everyone goes through a period where they start making gains. Like that's like the start. Once you start the gym, that's when you'll start making the most gains. Then it will slow down like very quickly, and that's where it could not ruin you, but it could just lose your ethnic to go to the gym or some sort of fitness, because then you're like you just don't see yourself as where you wanted to be, or you're just like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, and it could just mentally it'll just ruin you, because it could actually force you to stop doing what you're doing, because you're just like, what's the point, you know?
So as someone who's been going to the gym for the last few years, have you actually hit that wall yet where you're just like, I'm giving up, I can't do any more?
Yeah, it happened last year actually, you know, coming back from summer. I've only started going to the gym again about 2 months ago, and it happened because I just didn't really see, like, my abs started popping through, which is surprising. But then I came back from summer and I was just slim again. You know, I didn't get that fat belly back, but after about 2 months of just eating Sainsbury's, it just came back, and it's sort of like what happened, you know, it just stops you, and then you feel like demotivated, if that makes sense. Because I don't know if you've noticed recently, but I've been starting to do my working class. That's because I started the gym.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't notice if anyone's doing anything. I'm like the most inboxed person.
Yeah, you really focus in, like, you've got your bubble, and, you know, you don't look outside it.
No, I'm not very good at talking to other people, to be honest, in class especially. But I think that's why I'm most people's favourite. As you mentioned, you've been working better in class. So generally, when you're at the gym, do you feel more motivated in every single aspect of your life?
Yeah, because it's something where it's like, it's just the little things, you know, you complete a workout, you're like, yeah, you know, I could finish the day, or it's just the energy, really. I don't know, it's the whole, it's not atmosphere.
Ethos of self.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you just, you know that once you start completing, like it's with anything, you know, you start completing one thing, you know, you're going to do the next, and after you keep doing it, it just gives you more and more motivation.
I suppose so. I think personally with myself, as I said, I've been going to the gym recently, and I kind of dip in and out of wanting to be not even healthier. I dip in and out of wanting to be a lot slimmer. But as I said to basically everyone recently, like, I am the happiest I've ever been in myself, and I'm the biggest I've ever been. And that's because I feel like I've actually hit a weight where I feel comfortable and I feel natural, and I don't feel like I'm too thin for the body I have.
Yeah.
Because I had that problem for many, many years, but I didn't know I had that problem. But I think that all cycles back to mental health, because when you're like a gal, especially like growing up, there's a lot of pressure to you put a lot of pressure on yourself to be like everyone else in the room, even if everyone else in the room is 5'4", really thin, and you're 5'10" and not.
Yeah.
So, as you were saying, I did put a lot of unrealistic goals on myself growing up. And now I'm just kind of like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, there comes to a
I
point where you just don't really care anymore and you start focusing more on yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I did find though, and I think there has been a lot of research in this, I could be wrong, correct me, that the more you go to the gym, the better your mental health is because of the releasing of endorphins.
Yeah.
Have you ever, like, obviously everyone has sad days, but have you ever had like a prolonged period of sadness which you were able to fix by jumping on a treadmill or benching?
In a way, yes and no. Like, it's something that takes time, and it's something that you're gonna have to do like carefully. Because even like when you've got that prolonged sadness, it just demotivates you. You could go to the gym, and you're just like you could be lifting your usual weight, but you're just like, oh, what's the point, you know? So it's all about consistency, I guess. In that term, that's how like. Because I hit a bad spot 2 years ago when my granddad died. And, you know, that's really what's motivated me to start going to the gym. Like, not only, you know, the fat belly stuff, but it's sort of like my sadness. It definitely took time, don't get me wrong. It definitely took time, but it can work, yes. The endorphins do help. You know, like, it just switches you off for the hour you're in or the two. And it just, I don't know, it just helps you.
So, do you think you've been using the gym, especially in that period of your life, as a place to escape what was going on?
Yeah, because, like, it's not just you, don't forget, like, you live in a household where everyone loved that person. Like, say, my granddad died, everyone loved my granddad, he died, the whole house has changed. In a way, it's just for me to escape that sort of atmosphere. So, yeah.
I think it's interesting that the gym for you is a place of escapism.
It's like a safe haven, sort of.
Yeah. I love the word safe haven. I would say my safe haven or place of escapism is my books. I know that sounds so, like, nerdy, but
no, I completely understand.
I have a Poe tattoo. Of course I'm going to be a nerd. But, like, anytime, like, I open a book, I can just vanish into that world.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And I get that with the gym as well. But when I'm at the gym, I have a goal. My goal is to be well enough to not be in pain the next day, which sounds ridiculous because being at the gym, as you know, is a cycle of pain. It's literally just like a cycle of
yes or no,
yourself.
because don't forget, like, the pain you get is just lactic acid. It's normal, you know, but you don't want to tear your muscles up, you know, just because, like, if I don't feel the pain, I'm not working out, this sort of stuff. You know, like, that's the wrong sort of mentality, you know. As long as you know you could hit your stuff, you know, a little bit of pain is normal. Too much, I think, you probably just ripped something.
Feel the pain, get the gains, which I've heard like 100 times. So you went to the BodyCon Expo last year, right?
Yeah.
How was that, like, experience of just being surrounded by massive bodybuilders? For me, this is going to sound very stereotypical, but I see it as a very masculine world. But I know that more women are kind of coming into the industry of muscle building and muscle gaining. Did you see many examples of that, of the industry kind of changing to a more neutral zone, or is it still very much male dominated? In your experience?
I personally think it's changing. I think it's changing to the more neutral zone because it's not sort of like you go down a corridor and you just see men. You know, I think that was a good mix. You know, there were more men, but I think that's just because of the whole stereotypical. You know, I'm not trying to be rude here, but you know, when women go to the gym, they sort of, when they do weights, they're like, oh, I'm gonna get too big, I'm gonna get too muscly, when really, you're not going to. It's not that easy to gain muscle, but you're more likely just gonna lean out.
I think that's generally because of the general perception I know of. I could be wrong because I'm not in the industry, nor do I know many people in it. I know a few, but not too many. Is that the general thing is, if a woman is more masculine than a man or more muscly than a man, he'll feel intimidated by her and not want to be with her. This is something that I've heard a lot about intelligence as well, that men don't like dating more intelligent women because they feel intimidated. Do you think it could be because of society standards that women aren't going, or do you think it's just one of those things that's happening?
I think, I mean, it's a mix, I guess, because society standards, don't forget, they're always changing. So, like, not always changing, but, like, compared to, say, like, 100 years ago,
I mean, 100 years ago, women were having like 100 children, and one of them would, and like a good 50 of them would die of polio. So he definitely have come a long way since then. I just think it's interesting how society is still implementing itself very heavily in the reins of health.
Yeah. So are you trying to say like how society is sort of perceiving that women should stay women, men should stay men, you know, bigger muscly women should stay smaller?
I think there is a case of that, but I don't think it's as prominent in society as some may think.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean. There's been a massive, recently in 2018, there's been a massive thing about like equal paychecks and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think general mentality is similar to the pay gap problem, if you know what I mean. But I don't generally think like that's true. I think if you want to be healthy, just be healthy and kind of like fuck what anyone else thinks. But that's just because of the person I am. I'm very stubborn. As a person, I'm generally just very like highly strung and I don't really listen to anyone else. I'm not very good.
Yeah, but then, you know, there's always the people that, you know, they're like nowadays social media's taken everything, you know, and they see someone online and they're just like, oh, you know, but they also start like, say they see someone, I don't know, I can't think of any female bodybuilder, Grace Fit UK, I think, her.
Mm-hmm.
She started and she's got like, you know, many girls look up to her because, you know, she's sort of the look in the fitness world for women. I don't know if I'm making sense with my words, but
no, I know what you mean. She's like the female idol of the bodybuilding industry. I think that's what you meant.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, you know, but there's also the mentality in the back of the people's heads, or the girls' heads. They're like, oh, like if I start to the gym, this and that, you know, I'll get too big, or I won't look like her, you know. So in a way, it's all down to you.
I think it's definitely all down to the person, but I definitely think it's all down to like mental health as well, like the person's like perception of self. But I think mental health and general health are so linked together that it's kind of ridiculous. Because like the last few days, I've just been in a really bad patch, so I haven't been going to the gym and I haven't been pushing myself to do it, even though like I know I should be.
Yeah, like in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, like I really should go to the gym, there's like a McChicken on the countertop.
There's
so, like,
McChicken and Rick and Morty, and I could just hide for a week. That's what I can do. But I think that comes with the liberty of being on top of my work. I definitely found that like the last few days, I haven't touched anything and have been very open and honest about it on my blog. I'm just like, I haven't done anything, but I deserve a break because I haven't stopped since the 5th of February. I can't wait for the UAL examiners to read that and be like, well, well, merit for you. But like, as I was saying, I think my mental health has definitely discouraged that, like my drive to go to the gym, which I don't know, it's kind of tricky. I think, and I think you've described it in the best way. So, as someone who's been through a similar patch as me, in the sense of not wanting to go because I'm feeling down all the time, what advice would you give me?
That's a hard thing, because it's like it. Because you want to say something where you don't want to also bum the person out even more. Like say you're feeling down, and then, you know, I'm like, oh, why are you down? You're like, oh, I'm just not motivated enough. You know, it's sort of like you're the most motivated person I know, innit? So for like, but like, I mean, if you see our class, you're the only one who got a distinction. But
I mean, we don't have to talk about that.
We don't talk about that. Yeah, let's just censor that out.
We don't have to talk about that.
But yeah, I mean, you're very motivated. So like, for you to get bummed out over something, you know, in a way, it's sort of a big deal because you're like the stubborn, you know, fuck you, this, that, you know, like you don't really care. So if you're bummed out, it's sort of like, how can I start motivating you again?
I mean, it's not your job to. I know exactly what you mean. I said recently to one of our classmates that I was worried about going into university, and he very bluntly just looked at me and went, "If you're worried, we're all fucked." I was like, "No, you're all amazing. Like, it's fine." It was so bad. But I think, I just think it's interesting. My advice to someone who wants to start going to the gym would be just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Insert Shia LaBeouf.
As Shia LaBeouf says.
Yeah. There's no harm in doing it, you know. Experience new things in life, you know.
I remember, like, I recently started going to the gym. It's called the gym. I started recently going, and I felt so intimidated going into.
Yeah.
Because they have like little capsule doors, and I feel like I'm an alien, and I'm just like leaving my hat. It's terrifying. But I felt so intimidated going through those doors and just seeing dudes in jeans. Why are they wearing jeans?
I have
In
no clue.
jeans,
They have
super
those.
ripped, just like doing like this one. What's that one called? That one.
Pull-ups.
Yeah, and then they were doing that one, pull-ups and the.
Cross fly, cable flies.
Yeah, cross flies, and they were just like in jeans, and I'm there like, why are you
Gonna
wearing,
rip them.
why are you wearing jeans? Aren't you uncomfortable? And then there were loads of girls who were like really, really, really thin, like just like trying to build up their back muscle, let's call it that.
Yeah,
And I was just there like, oh, my little pouch of fat, how I love you, but go away.
yeah. There's definitely that intimidation, but again, it's sort of a thing where you learn to just, once you start going more, you're just sort of like, I don't really give a fuck about what everyone else thinks about me. I mean, there could be like 1,000 good-looking people, like physically, and then I'm here, I don't care what people think, it's not going to intimidate me. So it's sort of something that you build on, just like, your gains, you build on the mentality as well.
I think my realization was that I need to stop, in that sense, in that moment, I needed to stop being so self-involved. Because no one else noticed I walked through the door. Like, no, one person turned around because they heard a whoosh sound.
Yeah, from the door.
From the door, and then just continued. So I just realized how, like, in that moment, how self-involved and how self-aware I was. And no one else, I could have passed out and no one would have noticed.
Yeah.
I think that's another bit of advice I'd give to people who are looking to, like, join the gym.
Well, don't pass out.
No, well, yeah, don't pass out. And secondly, no one cares. No one cares.
Yeah, no one.
That you're there.
Everyone's there for the same reason. They're either there to, they're there to lose fat, gain muscle. It could even be mentally. They're just there to try something new.
Mm. So I know you were and are becoming again like a massive health fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
But do you still drink, like, alcohol, cider, and all that stuff?
Yes and no. Like, I do, but, like, I don't do it on a regular basis. Like, I'd cheat myself and be like, oh, I'd love a beer.
Love a good cider.
Yeah.
So how often is on, like, a regular basis?
A few times a year. Like, I've rarely, probably, like, just for someone's birthday or just on a holiday,
I think that's a really good mentality to have, though, because I know, especially in our age group, you can easily get sucked into a party mentality.
Fully.
Where you're just clubbing every night, especially when there are good clubs in your local area.
Yeah.
You can easily get just like pulled into that kind of place. It's strange because whenever I drink, I always have to take a minute to consider how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Or if I've taken like pain medication for my knees or anything else. Because if I have, I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
So I think I just feel old. I feel like a 50-year-old. I'm like, no, I can't have a beer because I have to take my pain meds for my knee. It just feels so old. But when you drink, do you ever have that kind of second thought of, this is how I feel today, I don't think I'm gonna have it, or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely a big playing part, Like, you could just wake up one morning. Like, it could be even for a motive. You've been planning it for months. Like, say it's your birthday coming up. You've been planning it for months. And then, you just wake up on the day of your birthday and you're like, I don't really want to drink anymore, Like, it's something that, I don't know, you wake up and you just find out what it is. Yeah, because, like, drinking, like, trying to link it to health, when you drink, it's a lot of empty carbs. Like, you could have, like, 10 bottles of beer, but that's, like, so many calories. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, you're going to get, like, a belly.
You're going to be,
like,
you need to be at the gym.
And there's a few boys in our class, you know who you are. But, they go out every Friday night.
Called out.
Yeah, they go out every Friday night. They go drinking and shit like that, but I don't know. Like, I get what you mean, it's for some and maybe for others it's not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a good beer and I like a chill drink.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not one of those people who can drink like every weekend. One, I work. Halfords. For one, I work, so I can't just be like, oh, glug, 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 and then go to work the next day and be like, how can I help?
Smashed, yeah.
Yeah, completely smashed. So I think that's one of the reasons I don't drink as much as I could, because I do get, like, offers to go out a lot. But I do think it's a big part of it, as I said, is like the knee problem and taking pain meds and all that kind of stuff, and just generally being responsible.
Yeah. It's all like, yeah, it's all about that responsibility, you know. Like, some people don't have that. Surprise, surprise, you know. Like, it's just amazing how some people would just wake up one morning, same with the next. Then, you know, they could go a week straight and just drink. You know, I had a friend of mine, I think you know him as well, who he didn't drink, but he took some other substance, and he basically he might as well have retired from life because he just was in such a bad shape, you know. And it's a reality, I guess. Once that reality kicks in, you know, you start thinking more. Like how you say, you know, you think for your medication, you know, you take it, like you get invited. Oh, I took my meds, you know, I shouldn't really drink. You know, my kidneys will fail. Like,
I don't think my kidneys will fail, but I don't think it'll be very pleasant.
yeah.
No, well, as some people say, I'm very highly strung. I'm a very serious person generally. So I think that's where it comes from, just my responsibility of being like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I have an essay to write, so why would I do it?
Again, you know, some people don't have that responsibility.
Maybe in the summer, I'm going to turn up every day, turn up to work, trying to serve someone, sipping vodka from a cranberry juice box. We don't know what the summer holds.
Yeah, you never know. You might die tomorrow, you know.
Exactly.
But that's also some people's mentality, you know. They're like, oh, I might die tomorrow, I might as well go for a drink. You will die tomorrow if you have that drink, you know. Like,
that is
you won't, you won't, you know. But you know, you never know. You could walk into the street one night and get hit.
So we're both moving away soon for university. You're going to Coventry, definitely. Proud of you. I might be going to Surrey. Maybe. Please don't fail me. Give me a distinction, thanks. So, do you think you're going to be able to withhold your whole kind of health regime and your kind of awareness of partying and the damages of alcohol whilst at uni, or do you reckon it's all going to go out the window?
No, I don't think it'll go out the window.
Doing lines every Wednesday.
No, no, I don't plan on.
It's not the plan.
It's not planned, you know. I could just wake up one morning and just take a line, you know.
But
no, I want to, because you know, when you hit university, you're more independent. Like right now, we're living with our parents, you know, so there's not as much things as we want to do. And then,
oh no, I get like free reign. I'm actually so fortunate. My parents are so, like, my whole theory is they put in the hard work growing up so that now they can like just trust me to do what I want.
Yeah.
And because I'm overly responsible, I never like throw up in their car when they come to pick me up or anything.
Yeah. But yeah, again, you know, it's like you have more free time. So in a way, you know, how you balance it out, you know, party and fitness, you know, like Freshers Week. You know, I don't plan on drinking every day, but you know, I will have a couple of drinks. You know, it would be nice.
I just think Freshers Week is such a weird concept. Like people from all over the country are like, okay, so now we live together. Let's get wasted until we can't talk.
Yeah, and then it's like a whole week marathon of that.
It's like that just sounds so financially damaging.
Yeah, that's finance is a big part
finance
as well.
Out the window. Need money for rent? Nah, mate. Vodka.
Vodka and cranberry juice.
Are you like, just on like a final note, are you actually scared about going to university and your health changing?
Of course. I mean, you know, university is a thing that most people go through, and the health changing part, you know, both mentally and physically, will change you because you know there'll always be something different that you didn't do. Like when I'm here, when I'm at home, there'll always be something different that I'll be doing when I'm in Coventry. You know, like even just different days of the week. You know, like we have a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday sort of thing. You know, if we only go in 3 days a week with a fat gap in the middle, you know, that will also determine how your health. Because you know, you're like you come back from uni one day, and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna binge Netflix and have a fat large Domino's. You know,
Netflix, Doritos, and Domino's. Yeah, the perfect combination.
You know, like, it's still something that's gonna come to consideration, and you know, if you're not ready for it, it's gonna hit you hard.
I think I think my biggest fear about university is just being like just a fish out of water. My biggest worry is from being from like one of the best students in the class to being the worst.
Yeah.
And that's generally one of like my biggest fears. Because I don't gloat about it. I don't walk around and go, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I'm the best student
Yeah,
in the class.
you definitely don't do that.
Just so you know. Do you know what I mean? And I know that I'm going to come across people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so intimidating to me. And I'm so aware of how it's going to affect my mental health as well as my physical health.
Mm-hmm.
And also because they don't have a gym in the area. You gotta go to like Aldershot, an army base area kind of.
Yeah, so it's like 20 minutes away as well.
It's gonna be such a trek. I'm just gonna buy a bike. It's the
Yeah.
perks of working in Halfords. I'm gonna just buy a bike and
Get
bike
that
everywhere.
discount on it.
Get that mad 25% discount on a Pendleton bike. Oi. Plug.
Just don't
do it.
Yeah, don't be scared to try things, you know. And like, you know, once you start feeling uncomfortable, either talk about it or, you know, try focus on what it is, you know, like in the gym. Like it could be just from like you don't like this certain exercise to, you know, you saw someone who's wearing no top and you're like, I just want to fight you, you know?
The endorphins kick in and you're like, let's go.
Turn into Hulk. Like, you know, it's definitely something that, you know, as long as you're aware of what you're doing and you have that motivation, then it should be okay.
Hopefully. Well, thank you, Lucian, for being on the second episode of Shit I Learnt in My Youth.
No problem.
And thank you for treachery all the way to the studio.
No problem.
Thank you to my producer, Michael. And thank you to me. And I'll see you next time.